up to you to identify your competent officers, irrespective of seniority and paper qualification, and deploy them to go out into the field and secure the country.
Reclaim all territories dominated by criminal elements, President Muhammadu Buhari tells new service chiefs.
We must support the planned and systematic rollout of the vaccines and mobilize our citizens as we move into the states.
Frontline workers take the first shot of COVID-19 vaccine as vaccination against coronavirus pandemic takes off in Abuja.
The challenges we know are enormous, but we are determined we will conquer them.
New EFCC chairman takes charge, promises to escalate fight against corruption. And more rural women benefit from federal government cash grants. Good evening and many thanks for joining us on NTA Network News tonight. We are live in Abuja. I am Juma Yusuf. Dotun Ogunyemi joins us from Lagos and Charles Abba will join us in the course of the bulletin. Thanks so much for joining. Now, following the confirmation of the appointments by the National Assembly, the newly appointed Chief of Defence Staff and Service Chiefs of the nation's armed forces have been decorated with their new ranks. President Muhammadu Buhari, who performed the ceremony, tasked the service chiefs to do whatever it takes to reclaim all territories dominated by criminal elements and effectively secure the country before the rainy season sets in. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu reports.
The new Chief of Defence Staff, Lucky Irabu from Delta State, now a four-star general, was commissioned as a second lieutenant in June 1986, and until his present appointment, the Commander, Training and Doctrine Command of the Nigerian Army. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Attairu from Kaduna State, was commissioned in December 1986 as an infantry officer. His counterpart of the Nigerian Navy, Vice Admiral Awal Zubairu Gambo from Kano State, joined the service as sub-lieutenant in 1989, while Air Marshal Ishaka Oladayo Amau of the Nigerian Air Force from Osun State became a pilot in 1986. President Muhammadu Buhari described the appointment as not only well-deserved, but also a confidence loudly expressed on behalf of Nigerians. The entire nation, he emphasized, is looking up to them for what he called rapid relief from the worrisome state of insecurity in parts of the country.
As Commander-in-Chief, I have accepted responsibility for your actions in the field. It's up to you to identify your competent officers, irrespective of seniority and paper qualification, and deploy them to go out into the field and secure the country. We have got a few weeks to do that, because by the rainy season we expect people to develop confidence and go back to the land to produce enough food for the nation.
While wishing the service chiefs the best of luck, President Buhari promised that every support and encouragement desired will be accorded them towards achieving their objectives. The new Chief of Defence Staff, General Lucky Irabu, on behalf of the service chiefs, expressed gratitude to the President for the honor and trust bestowed on them, which he promised will be justified.
The mandate which you've given us is very clear, and which is to do everything possible to address all the security challenges facing us as a nation. We will, based on the mandate, do everything in our power to address all issues appertaining to insecurity in the country, working in concert with other security agencies.
General Lucky Irabu, who pledged unalloyed loyalty of the Nigerian Armed Forces to the President and the nation's constitution, later spoke to NTA News on the next big step.
We will bring Mr. President's expectation to bear in terms of our tax. But let me also let you know that the inevitable is that Nigerians will indeed experience peace and security across the land. And we ensure that Nigerians, whatever bring fear to them before now, will be a thing of the past.
How do you intend to achieve that?
Well, that is the trump card, which I will now read to you. We, as members of the armed forces, will review various strategies and then, of course, come up with new ones to be able to meet the demands of the current realities.
The Chief of Defense Staff was, however, emphatic that under the watch of the new service chiefs, peace and security of Nigeria will not be determined by either terrorist or other criminal elements. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo this Friday received Aminu Tambuwal, Governor of Sokoto State, and issues of security challenges facing the state was discussed with a view to finding an end to the problem. The governor, while speaking to the press after the meeting, confirmed an attack on a village in one of the local government areas of the state.
But of course, we also had reason to talk about issues of security, because even this morning, from 1 a.m. Last night through this morning, there was an attack in Sokoto State, in Sabombi local government area, in Tara village, where so far we have lost about 15 people as a result of that attack. So security must always be at the front burner whenever leaders, more so the Vice President, meet with people who are on the saddle in our respective states. So we have discussed also about security and how best to bring this to an end.
Tambuwal said the Vice President is scheduled to visit the state to have further discussion with the stakeholders on how to ensure peace among the people, and will also take time off to inspect some of the projects embarked on by his administration, including a 950 capacity teaching hospital. Nigerian Army has deployed another batch of personnel for peace support operations in the Republic of Gambia, codenamed Nikoi 6 Economic. The operation is in line with the shared principles of the United Nations peacekeeping to assist countries in transition from conflict to peace. Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachukwu reports.
182 troops of the Martin Luther Away International Leadership and Peacekeeping Center, Jaji, on deployment to the Republic of Gambia after a 3-week special training on occupation of base camp, crowd dispersal, tactical convoy drill and escort, among other tactics in peace support operations.
The Nigerian Company 6 ECOMIC has received adequate trainings required to be deployed into the United Nations coordination mission.
Chief of the Army Staff, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Attahiru, represented by Chief of Training and Operations, Nigerian Army, Major General Nuhu Ambazo, charged the personnel to exhibit high level of professionalism while discharging their assignment.
The mission is a high-risk mission. The skills and knowledge acquired in the course of your training will help you to navigate through difficult situations, to protect yourself and effectively execute your mission mandate.
Nigeria has sent over 100,000 personnel to peacekeeping and support operations in over 40 missions across Africa and in different parts of the world. Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachukwu, NTA News.
Now let's talk health. Vaccination of Nigerians against coronavirus pandemic has commenced, with 4 health workers taking the first shot of the vaccine at the National Hospital, Abuja. Kenneth Naning reports that the vaccination exercise was flagged off by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa.
With that, Dr. Cyprian Ngang led his colleagues, who have been at the front line in the fight against the pandemic, to become the first set of Nigerians to take the vaccine against the virus.
In keeping with our promise, the Presidential Task Force is prioritizing the frontline health workers in the first batch of vaccines received. They have fought hard to save us. They laid down their lives for us, and in the ICUs and treatment centers, they became our last line of defense.
These health workers that took the first shot of the vaccine allayed fears about safety and efficacy of the vaccine.
I won't risk myself taking a vaccine that I'm not sure, 100% sure about.
I feel secured against this deadly disease.
Why they emphasized on continuous adherence to the non-pharmaceutical protocols against COVID-19, the dispelled all conspiracy theories and urged Nigerians to make themselves available for vaccination.
The vaccines that we're going to be delivering today to Nigerians are safe, they're effective, and we're going to roll out this vaccine in a very efficient manner.
Persons under 18 years and pregnant women are for now not eligible except they have been medically certified as vulnerable due to one underlying ailment or the other.
And this is a time for us to rally behind the government. The virus knows no creed, knows no religion, knows no ethnicity, knows no sex.
All eligible Nigerians are expected to be vaccinated as the country takes delivery of more doses. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Dr. Sifren Ngong, a family physician, is the first Nigerian to receive vaccination against COVID-19. The Taraba-born medical doctor interacted with Kenneth Nanim about his life and career.
A graduate of medicine at the University of Maiduguri, Dr. Sifren Ngong, upon graduation, worked with the Taraba state government for 2 years. Before joining the National Hospital Abuja, a family physician by training, is now a senior registrar in the Department of Family Medicine at the National Hospital Abuja. The 42-year-old medical doctor hails from the Mambila Plateau of Taraba State. In the last 1 year, Dr. Ngong has been working at the COVID-19 Isolation and Treatment Center, Wagwalada.
Isolation centers are for the public good. And we've achieved quite a lot by isolating patients who have symptoms, who have tested positive, treating them with all the dignity. And thank God the government does that for free. They don't get to pay.
He is the first Nigerian to get vaccinated against coronavirus.
Done. I will be more happy when at least 70% of Nigerians have had the vaccine. That means we have a herd immunity and we can break the transmission of this virus. But honestly, I didn't entertain any fear as per the vaccine. The AstraZeneca vaccine, I've read about it. I've read about the Pfizer-BioNTech. I've read about Moderna. I've read about other vaccines and their effectiveness.
He says he uses his spare time to research on health cases as well as write books.
Currently, I'm working on a book too on the coronavirus. Hopefully, I've written 8 of the 11 chapters, and soon it should be published.
Dr. Sifren Ngong, who is married with 3 kids, dispelled all sorts of conspiracy theories about the vaccine against COVID-19 and urges Nigerians to take the vaccines once they become available for everyone. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian Governors Forum has agreed to work closely with the federal government and frontline health workers to ensure successful vaccination of Nigerians from more than 3 million AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccines received Tuesday this week. The forum, in a virtual meeting, resolved to comply with laid-down guidelines provided by the National Primary Health Development Agency, as well as to ensure a functional cold chain to preserve the vaccines. NGF also fixed Tuesday, 9th of March 2021 as official date for the vaccination of governors and their deputies, with priority to health workers, the aged and vulnerables. The forum says the vaccines are safe and effective for citizens of 18 years and above, but will require sustained efforts in adhering to non-pharmaceutical measures to completely defeat the pandemic. The virtual meeting was attended by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, Minister of Health, Dr. Asage Ehenere, and other key players in the health sector. Healthcare delivery in the country is about to get better with the launch of the Median National Health Supply Chain Strategy Plan 2021 to 2025. Salwa Khalil Ibrahim tells us more.
It seems the days when citizens have to travel abroad for medical tourism is over, with recent government policies and programs targeted at providing accessible and affordable health care services to all Nigerians. in addition to the provision of facilities and other services to meet international standard. Supply chain strategy document that encapsulate modalities, mechanisms and principles that will ensure availability, feasibility and value for money for all medicines and healthcare products, especially in the public health sector, has been launched.
With a common goal of reducing morbidity and mortality rate.
Minister of Health Dr. Osage Ihanire represented is optimistic that implementation of the policy across board will prepare health system to manage introduction and administration of COVID-19 vaccine in Nigeria.
The appropriate use of these documents would promote acceptance of medicines used in our public health programs and increase the confidence of users of our healthcare facilities due to the assurance of the quality of medicines and pharmaceutical care available.
When implemented, the National Health Supply Chain Strategy Plan 2021-2025 will have a government-led sustainable health system that will provide access to safe, quality and affordable medicines and vaccines for all. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
We take a break now. When we return, more reports. Do stay. Welcome back. Now, a new sheriff is in town and expectations are high that it is not going to be business as usual as in the fight against corruption, which is a major thrust of the present administration. Correspondent reports that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission is again being saddled with a new captain who has history, youthfulness and competence to change the narration in the country's led agency fight against corrupt practices.
That marks the beginning of a new era in the EFCC, which has gone through leadership uncertainties since November 2015, with its two past chairmen serving in acting capacities. Since its establishment in 2003, Abdulrasheed Bawa is the first non-police officer to serve as chairman and the youngest among the past chairmen. The EFCC has had a checkered history, with none of its past chairmen leaving office without controversy. The immediate past acting chairman, Ibrahim Magu, for instance, was refused confirmation twice by the 8th National Assembly due to contradicting reports on him by two government agencies. His arrest and subsequent trial on corruption allegation raised questions on the EFCC. The announcement by the presidency on the appointment of Abdulrasheed Bawa came both as a surprise and relief to many Nigerians. His smooth sail at the Senate, commentators say, further justified the good choice of the president.
But the challenges we know are enormous, but we are determined we will conquer them. And at the end of the day, we will prove to His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, for finding it worthy that yes, the Commission is ready to take its leadership to the next level.
With his assumption of office, expectations are high that he will steer the affairs of the EFCC in a manner that will complement the anti-corruption policy of the present administration.
Now, more than 50 passengers were denied boarding the Abuja Kano train as their tickets did not tally with identification card. The Nigerian Railway Corporation says it is aimed at stopping electronic ticketing racketeering by touts springing up in the train stations. Oyinaya Kaluoka reports.
Agent on the website and she's telling me that I can use it.
A disappointed passenger, one of those who patronize touts, not allowed to board the train from the Idu train station as the name on the ticket did not tally with her identification card.
To reduce human interface with our system. Under normal circumstance, before you enter this hall, they will check you there. If the name here is compatible with this, you have finished with human being.
More than 50 passengers were stopped from boarding by officials of the Nigerian Railway Corporation. They said this is aimed at discouraging passengers from patronizing touts who purchase bulky tickets and sell to passengers at exorbitant price.
It's just the beginning of an effort to nip it at the bud so that we get to the root of the matter, find out who the culprits are, and deal with them accordingly in accordance with the law.
Genuine travelers, you come with your tickets and your means of identification which must correspond. You bought in, as simple as that.
The exercise carried out in all the stations is a continuous one. Federal government recently launched the electronic ticketing for the Abuja-Kaduna railway line to solve passengers' complaints. Oyinaya Kalu Oka, NTA News.
Nigeria is taking the multiple challenges of economic diversification as another opportunity to achieve social and economic greatness through multilateral diplomacy, which experts on international development say is the future of the global community. At a presentation of letters of credence to Nigeria's envoy, Minister of Foreign Affairs Geoffrey Onyema said President Buhari has great expectations on the ambassadors. The report, Usman Aliu has it.
A significant diplomatic process is observed here for Nigeria's missions in various countries of the world. The message for them is one and a unique task for that matter, that is improving on what Nigeria has on relations with the global community on economy, trade and other development cooperations.
You will be in a position to play a very important role for this country, economically, culturally, socially, technologically, educationally, sports-wise, and so forth.
And as they say, they are ready for the task.
To be a very big opportunity for us to do what we need to do to add to the development effort of Mr. President.
And so with their convictions, achieving Nigeria's foreign policy is the target. And as they assured, they aimed it with all seriousness. In Abuja, Usman Aliu, NTA News.
Now, let's bring you up to speed with other reports making the rounds. More than 80% of candidates who sat for the 2020-2021 Senior Arabic and Islamic Studies Certificate examination conducted by the National Board for Arabic and Islamic Studies passed with 5 credits, including mathematics, English, and science subjects. Suleiman Abdullah Rigachukun reports that the organization says it is committed towards realizing the ambition of federal government full integration of Western and Islamic education.
Since 2011, after the National Board for Arabic and Islamic Studies, (NBAIS), assumed full status of a national examination body, the board has continued to evolve strategies in its operations and conduct of annual examination.
The general performance is encouraging really.
Out of the 39,614 candidates who wrote the June-July 2020 examination in 25 states of the Federation, 32,228 candidates sat for art subjects, 4,654 science, while 2,734 candidates wrote tahfiz.
The quality assurance for the NBAIS is totally different with any other examination bodies because our curriculum is very deep and very wide.
Registrar of the board, Professor Shafiu Abdullahi, appreciated the conduct of students in spite of the challenges posed by COVID-19. He expressed management resolve to take the board to higher heights.
I would like to congratulate the state candidates, those who sat for NBAIS examinations in 2020, and to release officially the result of the year 2020.
In addition to harmonized examination, the board also plans to develop computer-based examinations for its candidates soon. Suleiman Abdullah Rigachukun, NTA News.
Now, over 5,000 vulnerable rural women and those with disability across 33 local government areas of Oyo State are to benefit from the 20,000 cash grants each of the federal government. This was made known at the flag-off ceremony of the scheme performed by the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development in Ibadan.
Grants for Rural Women Project is one of the many social intervention programs of the federal government aimed at alleviating poverty among the vulnerables in the society. The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Hajia Sadia Umar Farouk, who flagged off the ceremony alongside her counterpart in the Ministry of Youth and Sports, Sunday Dari, and Minister of State for Niger Delta, Tayo Alasho Adura, encouraged the beneficiaries to utilize the grant for the expansion of their businesses.
The life of 14,021 poor and vulnerable households has been impacted. 28 local government areas are currently benefiting from the federal government conditional cash transfer program in Oyo State.
Omotude Salau is one of the 100 women who benefited from the first batch of the grant. She and others expressed gratitude to the federal government for the gesture.
This is the first time I'm experiencing such from Nigerian government, and I want to appreciate them.
We use this to start a small business.
The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs later proceeded to NEMA office in Ibadan for the symbolic presentation of relief items to victims of Shasha crisis.
Let's now join Dotun in our Lagos studio with more reports. Hello, Dotun.
Thank you, Jumai. A polymerase chain reaction PCR testing laboratory has been activated in the 68th Nigerian Army Reference Hospital in Yaba, Lagos. Imolayo Tokede Okunfowora reports that the laboratory is a collaborative effort between the Nigerian Ministry of Defense and the United States Department of Defense.
The glory of God and the use of humanity, I hereby commission this edifice. Jesus' name.
The facility, primarily established to curtail the scourge of HIV/AIDS in the state, is key to increasing the testing capacity of the armed forces of Nigeria using the light cycler PCR machine.
This real-time PCR machine uses an open platform to test for COVID-19. The activation of this lab will further complement the wonderful job being done by the Lagos State government.
This laboratory is an addition to 4 already established by the military to promptly detect, confirm, isolate and treat COVID-19 cases. It is to safeguard the health of troops, their families and the general populace.
Since no one will be able to determine when coronavirus will withdraw this sustained attack on humanity, it is only necessary that we are ready at all times. We hope to continue in this state of readiness by establishing other testing centers in other military health facilities all over the Federation.
As a representative for the U.S. Department of Defense, I'm proud of what the partnership with the Ministry of Defense has been able to do with regard to combating COVID-19.
Although Nigeria has received the first batch of COVID-19 vaccine, the Nigerian Army emphasized on testing, hoping that this facility will add value to winning war against the dreaded virus. In Lagos, Imoliayo Tokide Ogunfowora, NTA News.
Despite the harsh economic climate in 2020 arising from the coronavirus pandemic, some companies were able to surmount it. One of such is Vitafoam Nigeria PLC, which has maintained its leadership in the industry by posting an increase in its turnover in the 2019-2020 financial year. Hingidun John Adams reports.
In the year under review, Vitafoam Nigeria PLC recorded an improvement in its group turnover from 22.28 billion naira in 2019 financial year to 23.44 billion naira in 2020. Profit after tax increased from 2.38 billion naira to 4.10 billion naira in 2020. This robust performance, according to the management, is as a result of improved operational efficiency.
When you see figures, you should also understand that there are people behind the scene working to be able to achieve the figure, and that's what we have.
The company intends to sustain the trajectory by continuing to be innovative, by hard work.
The board of directors of Vitafoam therefore recommended a dividend of 70 kobo per ordinary share of 50 kobo each to its shareholders.
For them to be able to come up, not only declaring profit, even all the subsidiaries are doing very well. I must say I'm highly impressed.
From what they're currently earning, there will also be needs for there to be higher payouts.
Incorporated in 1962, Vitafoam Nigeria PLC has been keeping to its core values of integrity, quality service and sustainable action plan, growing over the years in the manufacturing of superior quality products to meet the needs of its customers across Nigeria and the West African sub-region. With a promising future in a competitive industry, Vitafoam Nigeria PLC hopes to drive innovative strategies to sustain growth and profitability. In Lagos, Hingino John Adams, NTA News.
And we're not done from here, as Abolade Salami is next up to bring us more in the world of business.
Thank you so much, Dotun. Good evening and welcome to the Business News segment. The manufacturing industry has been a key focus in driving recovery of the nation's economy by the monetary and fiscal authorities following the downturn in the first half of 2020 as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele at the briefing in Lagos said the Apex Bank introduced a 1 trillion naira facility in April 2020 to aid growth and expansion of manufacturing firms in Nigeria, and so far has disbursed 300 billion naira to 76 manufacturing companies.
As reflected in the Purchasing Managers Index, which shows that the index on manufacturing activities rose from a low of 41 points in May of 2020 to 49.6 points in December 2020. While growth remains fragile, driving further growth in the Nigerian economy will require that we continue to support more investments that will enable the growth of the manufacturing sector in Nigeria. Our efforts at putting in place policy measures to encourage improved production of goods that can be produced in Nigeria is driven out of the need to create jobs and wealth for our growing population.
The Ease of Doing Business initiative of the federal government and Nigeria's vast market space, is said, will promote foreign direct investment and boost the country's domestic market. And now to the capital markets. Figures at the close of trade in the Nigerian capital market were in red as investors lost funds to sell pressure. Details in this report.
Broad Street at the sound of closing gong was gloomy, following a decline of 0.08% to close the all-share index at 39,331.61 basis point, with volume of shares traded at 587 million, valued at 13.6 billion naira, which exchanged hands in 4,895,000 deals and a market capitalization of 20.5 trillion naira. Morrison, WAPCO and NEM all posted gains by 10%, 9.9% and 9.88%, while Trans Express, Triple G and Cortex declined in figures by 10%, 10% and 9.95%. On the activity chart, NSE Industrial and Insurance closed in green, appreciating by 0.33% and 0.78%, while NSE Banking, Consumer Goods and Oil and Gas depreciated in figures by 0.53%, 0.16% and 5.31%.
Juma in Abuja will be back with the rest of the news. Just stay with us.
Thanks for joining us. We now join Charles Abba in Makurdi for more reports on Network News.
And a warm welcome to Makurdi. Governor Samuel Otom says primary education is so critical that it cannot be toyed with. He re-emphasized this when the board chairman, Universal Basic Education Commission UBEC, Usman Kyota, visited him at the government house, Makurdi. Correspondent reports.
Benue State Governor Samuel Otom said he has continued to harp on and demonstrate his administration's commitment in making tertiary education strong, secondary stronger, and basic education strongest. The governor, who commended Universal Basic Education Commission for employing due process in its dealings, pledged to always match counterpart funds provided by the commission to enhance primary education for all-round development.
In fact, last year, we got more money than what UBEC gave us. So we have to convert it to plastic chairs and all that, because having those beautiful buildings without sitting arrangement that is conducive for our purpose is a very big challenge.
He, however, expressed worry over the 800,000 IDPs in the state, some of whom are occupying primary school buildings. Board Chairman UBEC, Usman Kyota, who hailed the Benue State government for its strides in repositioning basic education, appealed to the governor to beef up number of teachers as contained in his action plan of recruiting 5,000 qualified primary school teachers.
There is hardly any industry that's exciting to the indigents of the state as education. And for the governor to now give priority to it is actually meeting the aspirations of his people.
He also emphasized sustenance of quality education to keep the nation at par with global standards.
Away from education to politics. Following the extension of time for the registration and revalidation of new and existing members of the All Progressives Congress APC in Benue State to the 31st day of this month by the National Secretariat of the party, the committee overseeing the exercise has received additional registration materials for the polling units in the 23 local government areas of the state. Correspondent Bem Hanya reports that the materials have been distributed to the local government officials of the party for onward registration.
On the 9th of February this year, the All Progressives Congress APC in Benue State flagged off its membership registration and revalidation exercise at Wanune Taka local government area, which was followed by the registration and revalidation of persons in the 3,961 polling units in the state. In the past few days at various polling units within Makurdi, the Benue State capital, the exercise has been hitch-free following the demand for more registration materials after the first tranche was exhausted. An additional 268 cartons containing 14 registers each have arrived the state. Chairman, Membership Registration and Revalidation Committee in Benue State, Alhaji Muhammad Ali Mashi, said the party has strong followership in the state based on the number of people who are being registered, which it puts at between 300 and 400 per polling unit.
Even when we were given 100 pieces, we instructed our registration officers, our supervisors at the ward and the local government, that they should continue to register people into their register, irrespective of whether they were given a temporary ID card or not.
The committee assured party members that the shortfall of materials in Vandika, Boko, Ushongu, Kwande, Makurdi, and Konshisha local government areas is being addressed. In Makurdi, Bem Hanya, NTA News.
That report on APC revalidation exercise rounds off our contribution from Makurdi. Jumai is back to you.
Thank you, Charles. Now, Nigerians who experience unfair trade practices from service providers will now be more protected following the pledge to that effect by the newly inaugurated board of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission and the Commission's Tribunal. Benny Adams reports that they made the commitment during their inauguration in Abuja.
These men and women are now responsible for policy formulation, supervision of implementation, and also penalizing offenders. The board of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission and the Competition and Consumer Protection Commission's Tribunal are seen to be crucial in achieving the development goals of the present administration.
What was provided for in the law is startup sum to enable us to do the best that we can.
We shall therefore ensure a thorough and timely adjudication to ensure that Nigerians get value for money and enjoy all the privileges and protection.
Ministers of Industry, Trade and Investment tasked the teams to meet expectations, emphasizing that government will punish any corrupt practices perpetrated by any board member, as well as management team.
I urge you to display uncommon leadership that embodies the core values of good governance.
You would also find useful, as a guide to your operations, the public service rules, the financial regulations.
The mandate here is to ensure that Nigerians get value for their money. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
Rivers State government has flagged off the construction of the 7th flyover bridge at Ikowo to mitigate the perennial traffic congestion experienced around the area. Ogidi Nyekere reports that the PDP South Zone Chairman Dan Obe performed the groundbreaking.
A 7th flyover bridge, which is named Mpolu Oroworuko Flyover Bridge, is sited around the popular Ikoku Spare Pass Market. Traversing Azikiwe Street is one of the recent contracts that Rivers State government signed with Julius Berger, Nigeria PLC. The bridge is part of the urban renewal program of the Rivers State government and became necessary to address the perennial traffic congestion experienced in the area and also open up the road to stimulate economic and social activities.
We have been having urban renewals to bring back Port Harcourt to what it used to be. I'm sure that this several flyover will improve the beauty of this place. The properties here will go up and businesses will thrive.
The PDP South Zonal Chairman Dan Obe says the many challenges Governor Wike encountered on assumption of office has made him a better leader, translating into infrastructural transformation of the state.
I must confess that you have become a symbol of what the party can do and what the party will do when given the opportunity to govern this country again.
The bridge, upon completion, will be 624 meters long. In Port Harcourt, Ogedi Nyekere, NTA News.
We take another break. Do stay with us.
In loving memory of our beloved son, brother, father, grandfather, friend, farmer, author, poet, soldier, statesman, and former minister of the FCT, late Major General Mamman Vasa, who passed on 5th March 1986. Baba, it's been 35 years you lived, but it seems like yesterday. Not a day passes by without your thoughts crossing our minds. 35 years on, we could write 1,000,000 pages, but still unable to say how much we love and miss you. You were a great leader, thinker, philosopher, and a lover of God and humanity. Ya Allah, receive your servant into Jannatul Firdaus. May his grave be a spacious blessing for him and honor him on the day of reckoning. Ameen. Al-Hajj Aliyu Yunus Vasa, for family, friends, and associates.
Sport update is next.
Many thanks for joining us on Sports Update. I am Badi Adeleye. We begin with volleyball. The Nigerian under-19 boys will be hoping to make it 2 wins in 2 games, where they take on Gambia on Saturday at the Africa Under-18 Girls and Under-19 Boys Volleyball Cup of Nations, ongoing at the Indoor Sports Hall, Package B of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja. Cameroon will face Morocco in Saturday's early kickoff. On Friday, Nigeria's under-18 girls began their campaign at the championship on a not too impressive note, losing 3-0 to Cameroon. And to football now, the Nigeria Professional Football League enters match day 14 this weekend with some interesting fixtures coming up. Second-placed Enyimba International are at home to FC Fanyuba in a southeastern derby. Kano Pillars host Enugu Rangers, while leaders Kwara United are away to Wiki Tourist. Meanwhile, the Premier League continues on NTA this weekend as Arsenal will be hoping to make it back-to-back wins where they take on Burnley at Turf Moor on Saturday, with the match live on NTA Network from 1 in the afternoon. 3 other matches are scheduled for Saturday, with the Manchester derby between Manchester City and Manchester United coming up on Sunday. And finally, ahead of his fight against Poland's Jabiakovic this Saturday, Nigerian-born mixed martial artist Israel Adesanya says his goal is to become the greatest fighter in the history of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. The unbeaten UFC middleweight champion is stepping up to try and take UFC's light heavyweight crown, and the last bender is confident he will overcome his Polish opponent and become the 5th fighter in UFC history to hold titles in 2 different weight classes concurrently. And that'll be all on Sports Update. I'm Badi Adeleye.
President Muhammadu Buhari has commiserated with the family of Alhaji Dairu Barrow Mangal, the government and people of Katsina State following the tragic death of Nuruddin, son of business mogul Dairu Barrow Mangal. This was contained in a condolence message delivered by a federal government delegation led by the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami San.
In the message delivered by the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, President Muhammadu Buhari said he is saddened by the demise of Nuruddin, whom he described as an enterprising young man. President Muhammadu Buhari expressed heartfelt condolences to the family, people and government of Katsina State at this moment of grief and prayed for the repose of the soul of the deceased and the family the fortitude to bear the loss. The father of late Nuruddin, Dairu Barrow Mangal, thanked the president for sending the delegation, which was received by Governor Aminu Bello Masari at the deceased family residence in Katsina. The delegation comprised of the Minister of Aviation Hadi Sirika, the Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, Ambassador Ahmed Rufai Abubakar, and the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Publicity, Malan Garba Shehu. Late Nuruddin Dairu Barrow Mangal died on Wednesday as a result of an accident on his way back from Patagarawa after an inspection visit to a rice mill under construction. In Katsina, Shehu Adamu, NTA News.
The death has occurred of Alhaja Wasilat Faderera Aweni Shuaga. Alhaja Wasilat died in Abuja at the age of 85 after a brief illness. She will be buried tomorrow by 4 p.m. in accordance with Islamic injunction. And that's the news tonight. Thank you so much for your time. My name is Juma Yusuf. Good night.